What's happening at the Retro Gaming Hippie, coming at you with yet another pickup video of random items from the 80s and 90s that I like to collect that I found at my local Goodwill here, Facebook Marketplace, or contacts that I've made up here in the area. But first, I want to invite everyone. On Monday, I'm going to upload the first WrestleMania on VHS, shown just on the Tube TV like I do my ColecoVision games. March 31st is the anniversary of WrestleMania. I have that on VHS, so I'm going to fire it up. I'm going to give it a watch. I'm going to provide some of my insight from the time before the matches a little bit here and there. And you're welcome to come along and join me. A 1985 VHS, just the way it was meant to be watched. So without further ado, we'll get into the pickups I got. We'll start off with the gentleman that I got, those really good PlayStation 1 games I showed you my last pickup video, and some plushes. He's a local guy here that does cleanups and move-outs. He was an old veteran just like myself, a little bit of a different time, but we definitely chewed up some of the same ground here and there. But he had a box of looked like PlayStation stuff that he said, here, you can have it. So he just gave it to me. I said, cool, you know, I'll definitely figure out a way to pay it back down the road. First up was a PlayStation 1 mini console. There's two of these in that box that both work just fine. I love PlayStation. I love the mini versions of systems. I own many versions of systems in my collection. This is the first PS1 mini that I have now. I did have at one time the one with the flip screen TV that I picked up like 10 years ago down in Arizona. I wish I would have kept that, but one of the many things, you know, like passes through collections as things pass, that was one of them. But now I got the mini version again. There was also this big old monstrosity that works pretty good, actually, if you're sitting up at a desk or something, but or a chair or table. The steering wheel Mad Cats, it does work pretty good. You know, it's got a shifter, gas, brake, buttons, everything. I will definitely stick with my expansion module 2 on the ColecoVision. It works pretty good, too. But that was in the lot. And then there were a few games, including this one I hadn't seen before, the amazing Virtual Sea Monkeys. Now, sea monkeys were heavily advertised in comic books that were basically little insect larvae that you could put into a pool or a bowl like fish, and they come alive. And so they made a game about it. It's a puzzle game. It's pretty fun, in my opinion, but it has a lot of load times. And I play Commodore 64. That has a lot of load times. Final Fantasy IX. I have yet to play this. This was the plush I picked up as that hooded guy on the front. Complete Black Label version. I do enjoy Final Fantasy. That one I hadn't played before. And Frogger on PlayStation. I'm sure it looks better than the ColecoVision. It's probably been altered. Q*bert is on PlayStation. I mean, they definitely jumped a lot of generations with those games. Crash Bandicoot Warped. I've never been to Crash Bandicoot. So they seem fun, just not my thing. I tested out the steering wheel with Gran Turismo 2. If it's not Twisted Metal or a black, Twisted Metal Black or a Mario Kart, I stink at driving games. That's a really fun driving game. There's a lot of vehicles to choose from. If you talk to a driving game person, they'll probably say that that's a pioneer of racing games, but just not for me. And last but not least, Atari Redo, which has a bunch of arcade games on it. So that was a free box from the local gentleman that I met here a little while ago. And then on Facebook Marketplace, I saw this large lot for $60 of figures I normally don't collect, but there are some items that I will show you at the end that were in it that is the reason why I picked it up. And there's She-Ra, which was an offshoot of He-Man, known for their long hair, combs, and jewels on their cleavage. These are in good played with condition. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 of them. They had actions to them. Some of them did, like punching actions. They're kind of like the strawberry shortcake because they're all different colors, but they're not different smells, I don't believe. But quite a few of them. I'll find somebody that collects She-Ra out there to pass them along to, that's for sure. Even has the guy. Kind of looks like kind of looks like a He-Man. A little bit. He just looks a little more passive in the face. This is one of my favorite ones, probably because the striped hair and the makeup, but I don't think this is her outfit. And I don't know much about She-Ra, so I don't know any of their names, but... And then he had these little minifigs. Tycho, Dino Rider minifig. Now, Tyco's really known for their RC cars, but I think this line, I don't know much about them. I didn't watch, I think it was a comic, and there was a cartoon probably. But as a kid, I never really saw or did much with them. But I think the dinosaurs were motorized, which makes sense for Tyco to do that because they really didn't do action figures. I always come across somebody from Mask, but no Mask. Thundercats, everybody likes Thundercats. I know who they are. I never watched the cartoon, but this guy's a Thundercat guy. He's a minifig, hard PVC. And the reason why for $60 I thought this lot was definitely worth it is this little Voltron mini from the 80s. It's a wind-up that works great, like a little Tomy robot guy. I really like the different colors. The horns, the mask. I think this is all he came with. It didn't come with a sword or anything, but I'm not 100% sure. And he works good. This was one of my favorite cartoons as a kid. And I had the big lions and the figures and the keys at one point, but they passed through my collection as well. He works, doesn't work very good on the chair. So he had that for $60, and then for another $90, I said go ahead and throw these in too, because as a kid, I only had figures from this company, the smaller version, Buck Rogers and the Black Hole, but I really love Mego figures. The old line, I like how they did all those superheroes, the movies, all of that stuff, the clothing, the accessories. These are all just good played with condition. Most have their clothes, but the face sculpts I think are really good. There's D-Force Kelly, Bones McCoy. Kirk doesn't have his pants, but Shatner. Of course, gotta have Leonard Nimoy, Mr. Spock. I really, like I said, Mego is one of my favorite kind of figures. You know, I don't know what. They just didn't grab Star Wars. Now, this to me is more like a generic red guy that they didn't make. But Scotty's face sculpt, not as good. But this is the first Scotty I've ever had. And then last but not least, Lieutenant Uhura. And I don't think they did a good job here with Nichelle Nichols. Of course, with my little iPhone camera, I'm not going to get a good shot of her. But her face sculpt, I don't think was really as good. And then Charlie's Angels, I think this is Jacqueline Bisset and Jacqueline Smith, but I don't know Charlie's Angels that well or the characters. But again, Mego crosses a lot of lines, and Charlie's Angels was one of them. So $90 for those Megos, so $150 altogether from that. And last but not least, I jumped into the newer figure line again. NECA got me for another $140 because I'll never see these in stores. But it's their Ben Cooper costume line. This time around, it was a superhero line. I'm skipping over one that they did also in between recently that I saw. Although it had a really cool Jaws figure that I might try to get. The rest of them just really weren't me. But starting off with the super villains, we got Joker. He's the only villain in this line. But he does have, that might be Catwoman, I think, right here on the box. But she is not in the line. Of course, you're going to have Batman. Nice box, and again, I do like how these figures are made, and I won't see these in stores, so even though I'm not a new figure person, I did scoop these up. Batgirl, not bad, you know, I like how that they did a Batgirl. I think she was a cool character, and again, we got Supergirl here, but yet to be released. Of course, you're going to have Superman, that kind of 70s look, Superman, which makes sense for when the Ben Cooper Superman line they were looking for did. And last but not least, you got Wonder Woman. No lasso, but she probably didn't come with a lasso with the costume. And NECA or Ben Cooper, if you're hearing me and cut me in on this one, if you were to release an adult-sized line of these costumes in the old box that we all saw on the shelves as a kid, I know I would probably buy one of a lot of different versions and wear them on Halloween. So get the licenses, make them, do something. So there's the Doc Brown clock. You know, it must be 7:30, 7:45. It's going to ring once for you. Join me on Monday, when I'm going to upload on the anniversary, March 31st, WrestleMania 1 on VHS. Hopefully it stays out there for a while. I'm not making money for it. I'm just showing it to people. You got the Retro Gaming Hippie. Remember, I don't buy nostalgia. I am nostalgia. And you all take care.